saw Israeli Defense Forces point their guns into the faces of 7- and 8-year-old children, shouting at them to get inside, that it was time for a curfew. Curfew in occupied Palestine is not like in America, 10 o'clock you're supposed to be in bed. It's a 24-hour-a-day curfew that is called at any time, whenever they feel like it. And then they just intimidate and scare them. So, a few days later I was out talking to some Israeli forces, and some of our group had gotten in an argument with them as they were letting people out of this cage that they live in the refugee camps. This defense wall, this 30-foot-high concrete wall that is supposed to be an anti-terrorism wall, which really just separates farmers from their land, and people from their jobs, and families from their family members. So everybody has to have a pass to get out, and some people can have passes, and most can't. They were letting people out. An argument broke out between some of the villagers and the soldiers and some of the people in my group about the morality behind this wall, this apartheid wall. And so I went back there to sing the soldiers a song, and everyone else in the group had left up the hill. And again, I was scared. I was thinking, these guys are hot, they're pissed off about this argument, so I've got to speak an international language here. The sun is shining, the weather is sweet. I came out to the Gaza Strip today just to move my dancing feet. So to the rescue. I saw these soldiers with their heads down. One of them said with a very thick Hebrew accent, Bob Marley. I said, alright, I'm good now. Sing some more for me. I started singing, they called their friends on the radio. Another Humvee came up with soldiers pounding on the dashboard, singing Bob Marley songs. They all came out to me. I had a lot of mixed feelings, because these are people who, the day before, had arrested a bunch of the people in the village where we were staying. Routinely came with tear gas, firing weapons, seizing the land there. But I knew that if I was there for any reason, it was to open a dialogue. So we did. We started a dialogue, and as I did talk, one of the soldiers said, you know, when you go back into the village, I want you to tell these Palestinian people that we don't hate them. So I said, why don't you tell them yourself? Yeah! And I invited one of the Palestinian guys we were with over to him. And the soldier got very shy and became very anxious. And somebody who's a young 19-year-old kid with an M16 becomes anxious, you start to feel anxious too. But I said, yo man, why don't you tell him to talk to me? So very reluctantly, very much under his breath, he said, I wanted you to know that we don't hate you. I said, but, you know, if I came here in plain clothes, speaking Hebrew into your village, you might try to attack me. I probably wouldn't make it out alive, would I? And my friend, Muhammad, said to him, you know what? Come into my village in a t-shirt. I'll invite you into my house for tea. Really small things. It doesn't change what's going on there. It doesn't change what's happening in Iraq. But there is humanity in all of us. And one thing I learned on the strip is that all of us have the potential to do incredibly beautiful things. And every one of us have the potential to do the most ugly things that one human can do to another human being. I just hope that as we go through our lives, and as we greet each other this weekend, as we greet each other this summer, as we lead into November, and as we go into the ballot box, and we vote from our heart, think from our heart. We feel from our heart. But sometimes, like Carlos Santana says, it's not enough just to speak from here. You got to speak from here. So, I hope that all of us can grab whatever's in our crotch, say with our full strength of our masculinity and our femininity, that we believe that all of us, including the politicians and leaders of our nations, should be guided by that spirit which is to do the best that we can for each other, and not by the spirit which is to do the worst that we can for each other, or just the best that we can for ourselves. So I sang this one last song for those soldiers. I sing it for you all here today, and I sing it for people who are fighting anywhere for liberation, for justice, for freedom, ecological justice and freedom.